My name's Linda Curran. I'd like to welcome you to the Master Clinician Series. This one is entitled EMDR and Beyond. Over the past few years, I have had the great fortune of being able to interview many of the luminaries in the field of traumatic stress, and I'd like you to meet them now.
Personally, I've done all these techniques. I've benefited enormously from IFS, but I've benefited a lot from sensory motor and EMDR and all these things. You see, and that I think it's important for people to know is that everybody who I know who has really done well as a traumatized person and come out being alive has done 5, 6, 7 different sorts of treatments. I don't think I know anybody who's ever done one thing and comes out and says, I'm okay now.
I'm a whole.
Right, no.
No better.
So it takes various parts of oneself.
There's no, silver bullet for everybody, but you've got EMDR, dynamite.
I'm a fan of EMDR. I think it's a good way to work with trauma memory.
I still love EMDR as a modality.
It's not all purpose, but it is many, many purposes.
I do a lot of workshops for EMDR therapists because I'm an EMDR consultant as well as a sensory motor trainer.
I came in the early days of EMDR. I was at some of the first conferences when we all stood around in the hallways and said, this is what I'm doing with it. And we were all excited about every new kinds of targeting and kinds of client you could work with and all that.
In the early 90s, I was trained in EMDR.
I have been doing EMDR for almost 20 years.
I love EMDR, but anybody who says I'm an EMDR therapist, I go, that's like saying I'm a hammer carpenter. Like, it is a little technique that helps people to process memories, but it's not, it's not a comprehensive piece. It is a lovely, wonderful, in my hands, indispensable technique. I wouldn't know how to be a good trauma therapist without having that skill. But it's just a skill.
One therapy isn't enough for everybody. You have to fit the therapy and the way you do it for the person who's sitting in front of you.
I don't think any one professional organization defines me and what I do in my practice. I kind of like to see, well, what's the best from all these worlds I could take, because I think integration is the key to good therapy.
Yes, I am not a believer that having just one hammer and everybody and every issue is a nail.
For me, the tools of EMDR became very creative tools. And when I have tools in my hand, I begin to think, well, what if I use it this way? What if I use it that way? Creative experimentation, sort of like science and art meeting together.